Let's start this question by looking at the easiest piece of information. James bought a shirt and Victor bought a pen. We know that the price of the shirt was twice the price of the pen. So Victor spent some money on the pen and James spent some money on the shirt. And this is twice the amount of money that was spent on the pen. The next key point states that Victor was left with $9 more than what he had spent. So Victor spent some money on the pen and he was left with $9 more than what he had spent on the pen. So this will be the amount of money that Victor was left with. Next, we know that Victor had twice as much money left as James. So if this is the money that Victor was left with, James was left with half of this amount. So how do you find out half of this amount? We can't just divide the whole thing into half because we know that this is $9, but we do not know how much this portion is. So to find the amount of money James was left with, let's divide this portion into half and then the $9 into half. This gives us with half of this portion and half of the $9, which is $4.50. Now we can better understand this part-whole model. Let's take this portion as 1 unit. So this will be 1 unit. This will be 1 unit. We can also divide the pen and the shirt into units where all these portions will be 1 unit. We know from the question that they had a total of $90. So the amount that both of them had spent plus the amount that both of them were left with would be equal to the total, which is $90. Now we can start our calculation. 9 units, which is the total number of units here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, plus $9, which is the amount here, plus $4.5 would be equal to $90. From this, we can find out the value of 1 unit, because 9 units would be equal to $90 minus $9 minus $4.5. So 9 units is equal to $76.5. So 1 unit would be 76.5 divided by 9, which gives us $8.5. This is the value of 1 unit. We are supposed to find the price of the pen, which is 2 units. So the price of the pen, which is 2 units, would be 2 times $8.5, which gives us $17. So that would be our answer for part A. Now let's move on to part B and find the amount of money that James had at first. To find the amount that James had at first, we have to add the amount that James spent with the amount that James was left with. So that would be 5 units plus 4.5. We calculate the value of the units by taking 5 and multiplying it with the value of 1 unit, which is $8.5. Then we add the $4.5. This will give us $42.5 plus $4.5. And our answer would be $47, which is the money that James had at first. Let's now check our answer. We know that James had $47 at first. Now we can find the amount that Victor had at first. This would be the amount that he had spent plus the amount that he was left with. That is 4 units plus $9. This gives us 4 times 8.5 plus $9, which is $43. To find out the total amount, we add the amount of money that James had at first and the amount of money that Victor had at first. This gives us $90, and this is already given in the question because both James and Victor had a total of $90. So from this we know that our answer is correct.